Godzilla in Hell, a being who killed the god of his cosmology and holds the title of the one and only strongest in his entire verse. Versus Godzilla Ultima, a higher dimensional entity who views universes like dreams and can destroy them at will. Some people say Godzilla in Hell is the strongest, while others say Godzilla Ultima is the strongest. But if only one of them is truly the powerhouse, who would it be? So today, I am going to talk about who would win between Godzilla in Hell and Godzilla Ultima. So, without wasting any more time, let's start the video. First, I will scale Godzilla Ultima because everyone believes he's hyper to high hyperversal, which I will talk about later. And yes, I am going to use the novelization version because the anime version scales into mountain to island level and his true form scales into at least universal plus, meaning Ultima was shown to be quite weak in the anime compared to the novel. I mean, where the novel has given Ultima lots of feats, on the other hand the anime just left him at being a 4D creature. Whatever, the most important thing for Ultima's scaling is the archetypes. But how powerful the archetypes actually? Well, these archetypes are capable of distorted the laws of the universe, also can reaching out to higher dimensional spaces and being connected to them. The red dust is stated to be higher dimensional, and its higher dimensional configuration can only be reached with the help of the orthogonal diagonalizer, and this red dust is the archetypes. The novel also states that Jet Jaguar can cut off the higher dimensional communication network, which means that higher dimensional things exist inside of the verse. So, where does this singular point cosmology scales? Well, the universe is stated to be infinite in size, and the entire cosmology contains thousands to countless 4D dimensions. This means it's a multiversal plus cosmology. But how does this apply to Godzilla Ultima scaling? As I mentioned, the archetypes are described as higher dimensional to the cosmology, which makes them at least 5th dimensional due to their superiority over 4D things. And Godzilla's body is entirely made of the archetypes, which automatically makes him 5D. However, I forgot to mention that this 5D scaling is only for Godzilla's true form, so no one should start saying that his avatar is 5th dimensional. Shiva can bend the space-time around it and reset the entire universe. It is later stated that both Shiva and Godzilla are different forms of the same singularity. Singular point has a reality over fiction difference. The novel explains how the singularity is a nature of space-time and cannot be destroyed within the space-time. It's like a TV character trying to break the screen, and the singularity is a hole given from outside the screen. It floats between universes and makes contact with them, creating cracks anywhere in the universe to let other entities enter, and it confirming its own existence by extending its body from the present to the past. It is a spatiotemporal totality that can connect to the entire universe from a hyperspatial perspective, and the novel states that it endlessly produces archetypes from its body. But who exactly is this it? Well, it is Godzilla, and this means Godzilla can scale to its feats. The novelization states that Godzilla has destroyed universes and sees those universes as dreams within dreams, which scales Godzilla to at least 6D. This is because first, he sees those 4D universes as dreams and destroys them, which makes him 5D, and then he sees all them as another dream, making him 6D. However, now I'm going to talk about why Godzilla Ultima isn't high hyperversal. Well, the singular point cosmology only has infinite dimensions, not infinite higher dimensions. Just having infinite dimensions isn't enough to scale someone into high hyperversal. Infinite dimensions means infinite 3D, 4D, whatever dimensions the cosmology have, but this doesn't automatically make someone high hyperversal. To be high hyperversal, every dimensions need to be superior, beyond, or transcends the previous dimensions. If I talk about his speed, Ultima have immeasurable speed because he is above things like space-time. But also Ultima has quite good hexes, such as Godzilla has matter, space-time, and causality manipulation. The singularity has resistancy to space-time manipulation, and the kaiju have unlimited computational resources. Ultima's true form is a higher dimension. Shiva can bend space-time and reset the universe. Kaiju can deforming or overwrite the entire universe. Anguirus has precognition, and Godzilla transcendence this. Godzilla can break the laws of the universe. Godzilla has reactive evolution, adaptation, and body control, and Godzilla can see cause, effect, and his unforeseeable future. Godzilla has time manipulation, dimensional travel, and time travel. The singularity allows hypertemporal access and hyperspatial deformation. Godzilla can rewrite the laws of nature. Godzilla's beam can create ruptures in space-time, and the same atomic breath can destroy space-time and causality. And that's all about Godzilla Ultima. He's quite strong, but let's talk about Godzilla in Hell now. I will go over the cosmology first. So the universe is infinite in size, and the verse contains infinite amount of universes, alternate dimensions and timelines with various event changes and endings in every story. Sometimes, each issue being a different universe of the infinite multiverse. Heaven, hell, and the real world are considered as different space-time continuums, and hell itself seems to be a macrocosm holding infinite-sized pocket dimensions. So, this is a multiversal plus cosmology. Now, God Mountain is stated to have created the entire IDW Godzilla multiverse, which includes other IDW Godzilla universes. God also views the multiversal plus cosmology as finite and himself infinite, which would make God 5D and Godzilla is above it as he killed God. But then the IDW Godzilla has canonically crossed over with the Boom's Power Rangers, and during the comic the panel shows both Godzilla and Power Rangers shares the same multiverse. Now, the Power Rangers multiverse has beings like Lord Draken, who destroyed the grid, which is a higher plane of existence in the multiverse. And God views these beings as finite, which makes him 6D. Now, the Space Godzilla that Godzilla fought has the same origin like his movie version, meaning the Space Godzilla is exactly same as the Heisei Space Godzilla, who manipulated supergravity and transcended the laws of physics. But we can scale Godzilla in hell above Heisei, Showa, and other Toho Godzillas because the IDW Godzilla cosmology exists as a part of the same Toho Godzilla cosmology. Cause characters like Miki Sigusa makes appearances in the IDW Godzilla comics. Meaning this cosmology is same like the grander cosmology, which is composed of 4D spaces and higher dimensional things. And God Mountain created the entire multiverse, and he views everything as finite, which again makes him 6D. Now, Godzilla in Hell is above every Toho Godzillas, because the Toho Godzilla multiverse is a part of the IDW Godzilla multiverse. And Godzilla killed the god who created the entire multiverse, and he also murdered beings like God Demon who are stronger than the god. And Godzilla is stated to be the strongest in entire multiverse, and he can destroy it whenever he wanted. Sorry guys, but the Here There Be Dragons is actually not a crossover between Godzilla and D&D, but Godzilla in Hell is still above the Dungeons and Dragons verse, as there are some new statements which directly scales him above the entire D&D and their gods. But you can still scale Godzilla into High Outer cause IDW themselves confirmed that all of their comics share the same IDW Megaverse thing which contains D&D, and Godzilla is stated to be above that. So, if you believe that statement, then Godzilla would be above the IDW Megaverse, but if you not, then he would be above the D&D multiverse, as he have statements of upscaling the entire D&D which contains high outer stuffs and characters. But there are a few things which I want to talk about right now. So, some people trying to debunk Godzilla in Hell by saying he died to an explosion because of these 2 pages. However, IDW isn't allowed to kill him in any comic, and just because he opens his eyes in heaven, it doesn't mean he died at that explosion. But again, someone says that Godzilla in Hell statements are fake because Moody himself confirmed that. This is what many brats using for debunking Godzilla in Hell. However, Moody is talking about his DeviantArt statements, not the Twitter ones. But then someone rebunked it by saying that the higher authors of the issue himself stated that Godzilla never killed God Mountain. But this is kinda wrong, cause there are more statements by the same authors of the issue where they stated that Godzilla killed God Mountain in this issue. Meanwhile, Eric himself stated that Godzilla is the replacement of God, which is even consistent with the comic. Where, after killing God Mountain, angels and demons started worshipping Godzilla as the new god. Even if you pay attention in this scene, so the atomic breath is actually going through the portal. Also, every tortures in Hell are stated to be Godzilla's greatest opponent, and Ghidorah, Destoroyah, demons and angels are Godzilla's greatest foes, and also upscales the entire Godzilla cosmology. And Godzilla is above everything in the verse, including God Mountain. As for his speed scaling, so he would have infinite speed as each Hell layer is stated to be infinite or endless, and we see Godzilla moving from one layer to another. But he easily would have immeasurable speed due to he's beyond stuffs like time, and he scales to a being who transcends infinite 4D constructs. Godzilla also have bunch of hexes, as he's above D&D characters and their entire verse, meaning he can resist all of their hexes. Which I have explained in this video, so if you guys want to know about D&D hexes, then you can watch this video, but I will not explain them here. So in conclusion, who would win? I think that Godzilla in Hell can win this fight easily because where Godzilla Ultima scales into 5D to high-end 6D. While Godzilla in Hell has not only destroyed 6D beings, but he is above all the other 5D to 6D beings that exist inside of his verse. And yes, Godzilla Ultima is also a part of the canon Godzilla multiverse, which GH can destroy whenever he wanted. Because God Mountain created everything, including the grander cosmology in which Ultima exists, and GH destroyed God, and no one in his entire cosmology can defeat him. So this means that GH is already above Godzilla Ultima and his hexes. So, overall Godzilla in Hell win this fight with negative difficulty.